this is Simran Kaur Rathore. You're watching eSpotlight, brought to you by Golden Jubilee Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, Guru Nanak Dev University. Today I have with me the owner and founder of Tex and Twist. He's chairperson of Confederation of Indian Industries. And it's going to be a very interesting interview because he brings along with himself journey that an entrepreneur looks forward to. Mr. Rajiv Sajdeh. It's a pleasure to have you with us, sir.
It's a pleasure being here.
And I was just reading about you and your journey. And, specifically, you started 36 years back.
Yeah.
And it's a long, long time.
It's a long time.
So you've named your very, I'd call it, it's just like raising a baby.
Yeah.
Tex and Twist.
Yeah.
Where did this name come from? What's the motivation behind that?
Oh, all right. I have to go back 36 years, and I started as a consultant. That's what I started at after finishing my MBA from Guru Nanak Dev University. And I wanted to go into textiles, but I didn't want that traditional name which always was there in Amritsar. You had the family name, or you had something related to Amritsar. I just wanted a general name to project what. And Tex and Twist came into our mind, that textile and then twisting, and then it just sounded nice.
So you're alumni of Guru Nanak
Yes,
Dev
I am.
University.
Yes, and I did my MBA from here.
Mm-hmm. So your journey as a student, what difference do you see in, how we pursue textile now and how it was perceived way back? Because you did your MBA.
Yeah, I
now
did
we
my
have
MBA.
specific degree in textiles.
You do.
So what difference do you see in the perception that we hold?
At that time, there were no particular courses which were targeting textiles per se.
Mm-hmm.
We were just doing general MBA and then hoping that you would go into whichever line you wanted to. But now, as you say, you have a technical textile department,
mm-hmm.
and students can focus clearly today where they want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a sea change, in my view. It's a sea change. It's a total
So you're a member of Indian Technical Textile Association.
Yes.
And
yes.
as well as Institute
CII.
of
Yeah.
Management Consultants of India.
Yeah, that's right.
So, being associated with such organizations, you
Yeah.
meet so many people.
Yes.
Do you think that the youngsters are having increased amount of interest towards textile? Otherwise we just see that I know that you give strategic alliance to the businesses as well.
Yeah.
But do you think that with regards to the younger population, the textile strikes in their mind when they are deciding what industry they want to get into?
Well, unfortunately not. That's the sad part.
Mm-hmm.
Because textiles is seen as a last resort business. People want to go in for the IT, for other, the bigger, better office-related glamorous.
Mm-hmm.
Textiles is not glamorous at all.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk about basic textiles.
Right.
Yeah, you go fashion designing, yes, that's different.
Mm-hmm.
You have the NIFT and everything, people go there, yes. But when we are talking about traditional basic textiles manufacturing, not many students currently want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that will change with the advent of the technical textiles. Because now technical textiles is very, very interesting. When we say interesting, because it's engineering and textiles.
Yeah.
So basically you're talking about engineered textiles.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful area which is going to have lots and lots of implications. And everywhere you sit, you will see these technical textiles. You may not realize them, but they'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the times ahead are very, very exciting.
So just as you mentioned that textile, you can have, it could be glamorous, right? But on the other hand, we're dealing with people at the factory level.
Yes.
When we talk about the other end, it's employees coming, the white collar job, and they're qualified. But when you're working in a factory, at the very basic level, you're dealing with the labor.
Yep.
They might not be very well qualified. They're the daily wage workers. So how do you deal with these two sets of employees? Because the psyche is just different.
Totally different.
The way of dealing with them is totally different.
Totally.
So what's your dynamic?
Look, when you're at the shop floor, the first thing is that person has to feel wanted and responsible.
The sense of belongingness.
Sense of belonging has to be there. He must feel that he's contributing something to the whole setup. He should not be just a clog in the whole system. That is very, very important. And we take care of that where I work, because we try to give an importance to every person, and we even have schemes where you're supposed to come up with innovative ideas to improve what you're already doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that keeps them involved in what they are doing. You are doing a particular job, repetitive job. How can you do it better? If you come up with a scheme, you get a reward. So that's the shop floor area, and it's the most difficult one,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest. In the office, things are a little easier, but you have a lot of people coming and going and leaving. Now that's another part you have to deal with.
Yeah.
You have to train them for what you specifically want from them in the offices,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to retain them. And to retain them, again, motivation comes. The first thing, they have to know that they are doing something special.
Mm-hmm.
And in my case, I let them go to a long extent to deal with people as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't keep all the dealing to myself. I let them deal with people so that they feel important, that they are doing something, not just being in the office, but
Mhm.
dealing directly with people.
It's like using the delegation.
Yes, I do delegate a lot of authority to them. Sometimes you pay a price for that, but that's all right.
You know,
That's
this very interesting question I ask almost everybody I interview. How do you deal with the difficult set of employees? Because thing is that not everybody
No.
understands. You know, if you give them the liberty, you know,
Yeah.
it's just all right. I have the power now,
Yeah.
and you might get to know about it way after things have
Yes,
gone wrong.
some
When you
yeah.
just look back and you join the dots.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with such situations?
Look, you have to keep a hawk eye on these things. There is no other way. Yes, you have to put systems in place.
Mm-hmm.
That is very, very important. If you have systems in place which will warn you when something is going wrong, that is very important. When you get a report, when you see something on your desk and you say, okay, this doesn't look right, you need to investigate it there and then. And then probably tell your employee where he's going wrong or what needs to be amended. But as I said, you still need a hawk's eye. You have to be there.
Yeah.
There is no other option.
So there are sustainability practices
Yeah.
that you basically put focus on. So I'd really like to know about it, because when we talk about sustainability, I think we have started to understand its meaning, but still putting practices into place and making the masses understand that
Yeah.
yes, we are making the sustainable products,
Yeah.
you know, which makes them more preferable.
Yeah.
You know, so how do you do that part? What goes in the branding and what goes in the advertisement of that?
Well, in our case, we do sustainability on technical textiles.
Mhm.
That is our forte. Now, it's been the most hard part, because when you speak to somebody who's buying technical textiles, it's expensive product. And he says, when you tell him it's sustainable in the sense that it's, made from post-consumer or post-industrial materials,
Mhm.
he has doubts about the capability of that product.
Hmm.
And you have to then make sure that you can show that that product performs at those levels where it's required. That is your best advertisement.
Hmm.
You have to get the right approach, where the right customers who can appreciate a sustainable product, and in turn they might even get a better price in today's world.
Yeah.
Because that's what's happening.
Mhm.
That's what's happening. And we as a company, we have a zero landfill policy. When we say zero, absolutely zero.
Mhm.
Even to the extent we reuse cardboard which comes into our factory for repacking.
Brilliant.
That's something that I've imbibed in my system. and it's so far it's working fine.
So, looking again, I'm going to take you 36 years back, the very beginning of your journey.
Yeah.
I mean, now we see that entrepreneurship is a term.
Yeah.
People know about
Yeah.
it. But back then it wasn't.
No.
It absolutely wasn't.
No.
The perception was different. This kind of support that we required and we needed, and we got was different.
Yeah.
So what was your family's take on it?
Well, my family's take was simple: come join the business. I had a business family background, but I didn't quite fit in there.
Right. Because a
And
lot of,
yeah.
especially the second generation.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
were the second
yeah,
generation.
yeah.
So didn't it strike you that you just want to go? Because I hear it from a lot of you students and youngsters. This is not something we want to do. हमें अपना कुछ बनाना है.
Huh.
That perception.
That feeling is very, very important. When you say, when I say now I did this, that is very important.
Yeah.
But if you go back, as you said, 36 years, I mean, you didn't have that liberty. I mean, the atmosphere was, okay, now you've done your studies, come and join the family. And you were expected to do that. So in that way, I was a bit of a rebel. I charted my own course. I said, no, it's not something I'm going to do. And I started dabbling with materials and other things. Of course, I had that background. I understood what materials were, textiles and things like that. But I started with a totally different way of doing things, not what was happening already.
So is that, now your younger generation, if they have other plans, what will be your take on it? Because we are just having, this perception that it's fine. A lot of students are just deciding to go abroad.
Yeah.
We're like, we want to do that.
Yeah.
Do you think, and the reason behind that is India mein kuch hai nahi. But I don't think it's a perception. I think that's something that they've heard.
Yeah.
That is something that's fed to them.
Yeah.
So what would you like to tell, people who are having these plans just because of the reason that India mein kuch hai nahi?
Look, that's a misconception, total misconception, at least now. I mean, okay, if you would say 15 years, 20 years ago, probably it might have held some truth in it.
Yeah.
But now the opportunities are tremendous. There's no question that there's any dearth of opportunities in India. And you can create employment today. You just have to step out and say, I want to do it. I want to do it. There's no dearth of it. Going abroad, yes, you are going to be working for somebody, right?
Right.
Why don't you make people work for you here in India?
Yeah.
India needs you. There are ample opportunities. People from overseas are coming here to India. It's a market. It's a huge market, and you just have to tap it.
Yeah. So you visited Incubation Center.
Yeah.
Now, Incubation Center is equally a new thing.
Yeah.
People are not aware,
No.
especially even the entrepreneurs. They
Yes.
don't know what Incubation Center is and how it
Right.
can help them.
Right.
So, what role do you think an Incubation Center like the GGCI can?
I mean, it's a wonderful platform for young students or even people who are thinking of going into entrepreneurship to come there. The basics are there. You start from there, take the help of the department, and then you have the industry which should then join this incubation center and help these young entrepreneurs. And I think, as Dr. Saab was saying, that we can even get the financing thing linked up with this, so
Yes.
that you have these angel investors or whoever. And then I'm sure that these young Punjabis are going to do wonderful things at this incubation center.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful idea.
We talk a lot about work-life balance. I mean, since we are heading more, in more depth as far as research is concerned,
Yeah.
the work-life balance.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, especially in your 20s, you're confused between your career and then you're confused between your personal life because there are decisions you're making, And a lot of people somewhere get confused and they're like, all right, these two things cannot go hand in hand. What is your take on that? Because I think the young entrepreneurs really need guidance when it's about being stuck in that situation.
Well, I think if you have chosen to be an entrepreneur, then you have chosen what you want to do with your life. You've chosen a path. Then devote yourself to that until you reach a level. Because look, greatness or success is not going to come with partial devotion. You have to be totally devoted to what you want to do, at least for the first 15 20 years. I mean if you're starting fresh. If you're starting fresh, look, it's the same. Like you have a Sachin Tendulkar today, and he's the god of cricket. Why is he the god of cricket?
He started somewhere.
He started somewhere, and he was totally devoted to batting. That's it. So it's the same with an entrepreneur. It's no different. It's no different.
So now, again, coming back to your life, failures. Entrepreneurship is something. Failure is an ingredient.
Be prepared for it.
Be prepared for it. A lot of times we're not. We're just looking at, all right, we have plans, plan A, plan B, and it's going to go very smooth. Things just, I think, especially on this path, things are not meant to go straight on the first try. Sometimes they do, but you should be very prepared. But a lot of times we're just scared and we do not take that first step. So what motivation goes behind that first step?
Conviction. You have to be convinced that what you are doing is right. And look, as you said, failures, setbacks are part of business. We had the 2008 Great Recession. The whole world was in recession. A lot of businesses folded up overseas. India was doing well.
India was doing extremely well.
So you had COVID. Nobody expected. Nobody was prepared for it. But you just have to make the best of the situation which is there. And sometimes these setbacks give you new opportunities. COVID gave opportunities to so many people. New employments came. People were making those suits and things like that for the technical textiles. Just grew from COVID. It started from there. So you can't let a setback just put you off. As I said, conviction. Be convinced. Yes, what I'm doing is right. And then that's fine. It's not gonna. It'll be fine.
The role of social media, I guess. Now. Again, the whole journey. Back then, social media wasn't a trend. Right now, it is. If you're not active on social media, I think you're missing out on something.
Yes.
So, how do you think? Because there might be a lot of people who are associated with you since the very beginning of your journey. And that change. How do you inculcate that? Like the newness, the freshness, as the trends change. So how do you inculcate that? What goes in the whole process of it?
Well, look, you have to keep educating yourself. That's the first thing. And you have to be prepared for that change. You can't resist it. It's not going to help you. It's there. You have to adapt it. And then get newer, younger faces into your system, because they are the ones who will then have the new ideas. Even if if I'm prepared to accept change, I must have those newer ideas from somewhere, and it's the younger generation. You have to keep bringing them in, and you have to ask them for help. You have to ask them for help. You can't be resistant. No, I know everything. And that's not going to happen.
So asking for help. That change.
Things are changed. I mean, earlier we used to say things change in 5 or 7 years. Now it's 2.5 years, 2 years, and it's going to get faster and faster with AI coming in. It's going to be very, very fast.
And especially the role of government. The role of government. I think it's very important. The kind of policies which are coming. So any take on, what's your take on especially the kind of support that government provides?
Well, I would say that if I talk about textiles per se, Um the support at the moment is tremendous. The present government has made specific policies for textiles, and students who want to really enter into this field, this is a golden opportunity.
Yeah.
The government is providing a lot of incentive, not only by way of when you put up a new enterprise, but also when you want to go to and do some training at units. You have a lot of money coming in from the government, and you just have to go and get it. I mean, the government is there.
So I'm pretty sure whoever is going to listen to this specific interview, because 36 years is a long time, it's your life that you put into this.
Yes.
So everybody who's going to hear this interview is going to get a lot of motivation. And what I personally feel is that, when you're talking about your experiences, your life, I think it reaches straight to heart. We can talk about the technical things, but when you just mix it up with your experiences, it just reaches the heart. So if there's any message that you want to give the entrepreneurs who are going to be watching this interview, please go ahead.
No task is big enough if you break it into smaller jobs. That's my message to you. There's nothing too big. Just break it into smaller parts and just go on it.
Thank you so much, sir. It has been a pleasure, and I'm pretty sure everybody's just going to get little things from this interview and make it into bigger realities.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Simran Kaur signing off. Stay tuned. We'll be coming with more interviews. Thank you for watching.